All right, so I'm starting a video newsletter, and what I'm going to do, I just had a conversation with a woman, and she said, "Jerome, how do you get so many books done?" So, what you see over here in my screen is you see several of my books that I've accomplished. And the way you write a book is you generally don't write a book, right? So I'm going to do a newsletter series where I talk about specific things, and I'm going to do video. I'm doing video for a reason because one, I can use that video on my social media to market myself and share content, right? And number two, the cool thing is that video is so versatile. You could do so many things with the video, right? You can chop it up, you can rip the audio from it, you can use only the images. There are so many different things that you could do. But one of my favorite things is to transcribe the video. And what I mean by that transcription is you take that video and you put it into a software somewhere, and it'll turn everything that you're saying into words, and you have a bunch of text, right? So I'm going to do a video newsletter series, and I'm going to pull different chapters, right? From a book that I want to be working on. I'm gonna create chapters based on the videos. With that, let me get started. Right. So what I'm going to talk about is the next book that I'm going to publish is a book about productivity uh, and implementation. Right. Because I find that most people struggle with implementation, and it's not that we don't have the skills, it's that like we have a lot of internal struggles and a lot of internal things that are holding us back, right? So especially if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, I know you have the skills, I know you have the expertise, and I know you have the talent. It's just like we need specific things so we can get out there and we could go implement, right? So let's talk about what some of those things are. I was listening to a video, and the coach, the speaker on that video, she said, "Look, it doesn't matter if you have all these productivity tools and you don't use it, right?" So I want to show you something. This is my notebook. You can kind of see it here. You can see my notes. I took the notes to get ready for this video. And I could have sat down, I could put it into a fancy slide presentation, I could have typed it up in my note thing or whatever. But one of the things about that is that it tends to slow us down and to hold us back. So a really good example is this woman. I'm part of a high level coaching mastermind where we talk about and discuss selling one to many. And this woman, let's just call her Carrie for now, right? And Carrie was like, you know what? I'm really struggling with actually implementing what it is that I'm doing. And her objective was to go and post a video like introducing herself to the community and letting people know what her gifts are so they can come and do business with her, right? And she said, I just can't get it. The technology is not working. And I challenged Carrie. And I said, why don't you just put the technology down? Don't worry about that, right? She had already created this wonderful video that she said, and she was like, I just can't get it to post to Facebook. I was like, well, that's okay. Why don't you go live? And she's like, okay, what should I go live about? I said, go live about talking about the fact that you can't post a video, right? And the reason why I told her to do that was because very specifically, it's like, it's not, the content is not as important as you getting something done, right? Right. So get out there and get the video posted. So go live on Facebook and talk about the fact that you can't get your video to post and get some engagement and get some interaction. See what people say about you not being able to get your video posted, and you might find some people to help you. Okay. So I find that most people struggle is that they struggle with the actually doing the implementation, right? You create this beautiful product and this beautiful thing, and you never get it out there because technology gets in the way. You worry about perfection, et cetera, et cetera. Now, next thing that I want to talk about is mindset, right? So mindset is essential to your success in your business, right? I have another woman, let's call her Tracy, right? And Tracy has a very negative mindset, right? Her mindset is very negative, and it's not, and she doesn't even realize it until she's having a conversation with me. And I'm like, listen, you have to fix your language. You can't talk like that. You can't self doubt. You can't say you can't do it. You can't say I don't have time, right? She's using words of powerlessness, and you have to be very careful not to use those words, right? And I'm not saying that I'm not perfect, but I do my very best not to say those words. And even if I do say things like that, I absolutely do not believe it, right? Most people, when they're saying and using these words, they believe in it themselves. They have built this up in themselves, and their body, their language, their behaviors, their everyday interactions shows that they do not believe the opposite of what they're saying. Okay. Now, what else do I want to talk about? I want to talk about daily disciplines, right? So it is essential that you have daily disciplines, because if you don't have daily disciplines or daily structure, um, your business will struggle because There's no structure, right? And what does that mean? That means I always like to use the example of Walmart, right? Can you imagine if Walmart said we open up at 8 a.m. on Monday, by Tuesday we open up at 12 p.m., and then Wednesday we open up at 8 p.m. at night, right? There's no consistency, and you can't expect a business to be successful that way. You would say that's insane. However, a lot of us are doing that in our businesses, right? A lot of us are doing that in our lives. We don't have structure and time, and it's important that we do that so we can get clarity on what it is that we're doing, our life and our goals. A really good example is me. What one of the things that I like to do every Sunday is Sunday now. Is I like to sit down and I like to be clear about my goals. I have very specific, right? You can see me. I love technology, but sometimes you got to go back to pen and paper. You can see these are my weekly goals, and I sit down every Sunday, just about every Sunday, and I write down my weekly goals. Okay, what are the major goals that I want to accomplish for the week? And then I break them out into day by day by day by day. So it is important that you uh, have daily disciplines and you have like goals, right? You want to sit down and be structured and get these things finished and accomplished, right? At the very least, what you want to do is write out your goals so you can tackle them. Don't put them all up here in your brain so you can, in where you're trying to figure it out. Don't put them all up here in your brain where you're trying to figure it out. And then, you got all this stuff going on in your brain, all this noise, right? Despite all the other distractions because of technology, because of your kids, because of your family, enemies, right? It's hard, right? Life is hard enough. So one of the things that you need to do, like all those thoughts and all these things working against your brain, get it down somewhere, right? And it's easier, right? We're naturally inclined to get things out of our brain when we write it. So take time to write those things down, um, and be clear. Be clear. One last thing I want to give people, anybody out there that's aspiring to be an entrepreneur or that has a job, there is no such thing as security, right? We have to build security in our own way. So I want you to keep that in mind. There's really no such thing as security. Some people have jobs and they think that's secure, but it's really not. So keep that in mind. I just wanted to share. I wanted to pop on. I'm going to be very strategic about creating more video newsletters because, like I said a little bit earlier, I want to take the videos and I'm going to transcribe those things, and that's going to become my weekly newsletter. That's going to be the topic and in the things that I address in my newsletter. And we talk much faster than we type. So I'm making this a little bit easier on myself. With that, my name is Sharon Lewis. I appreciate you watching, and I will see you on the other side. Bye bye.